Hello, let's do another game here. This time we have just watched a game from the Romanian Chess Classics, and now I'm going to look here at the Sinkfield Cup tournament, and Gukesh got 9 draws here, many of them relatively fast draws also. But there was some interesting games, and the most interesting one I think it was against MVL. MVL was like a contender. Like 5 years ago he was like one of the highest rated players in the world, but he has lost a bit of rating, but here you can see he is still a very strong player, but he didn't get into the candidates this time when Gukesh won, of course. And this 9 draws, as I spoke about, it was a little bit of a surprise, because Gukesh before was an extremely aggressive, uncompromising player. Either he won or lost, he didn't play many draws. But we will see this was just temporary, that he drew a lot of games here, because in the next tournament in the Olympiad he will play the best tournament of his life, performance wise, even better than the candidates. But let's now look at the game against MVL. Interestingly here, Gukesh went for e4 instead of d4, and I guess he didn't have anything against the Grünfeld. But MVL is a very theoretical player, knows a lot, but he does something that nowadays people think it's extremely important, that they can't guess my opening and prepare against me. That's much more important than I know the theory well. But MVL does the old style, which is you analyze your openings extremely deep. You always place the same moves. You only have one opening. You never change. MVL always plays the Najdorf, and he always plays the Grünfeld, and as white he always plays e4. And for example, people always played the Berlin defense because he always went for the Berlin endgame, and it always became a draw. So it's like he was kind of easy to prepare against, and I guess this is a little bit why he lost some rating. He used to be like almost 2800 before. Okay, but see, it's always a nice player to watch, because my favorite openings are also the Knight of Sicilian and the Grünfeld, so I like watching MVL's games. And I've seen like in interviews that the top players think he's one of the best top players at calculation and tactics, so it's good for him to play sharp openings where he can use his strength. Okay, so here bishop d3 is a unusual move against the Najdorf, of course. e5, it's like Najdorf player often wants to do e5 instead of e6, so e5 is fine. And often Najdorf players doesn't like knight c6. They often want to go like here, or just keep the knight on d7. Problem, which was maybe not a problem here with this one, is sometimes white could maybe do like this and get some kind of a grip over this. But yeah, I'm sure they have this is theory for these guys. So as we can see here, already black could have traded stuff here and kind of equalized. This is like probably an equal position, but it looks a little bit dangerous for black actually. He's not castled, but yeah, computer thinks it's fine. So I guess this is one of the reasons why they're not putting the bishop here, because they want to prevent that break. But he prepares it one more move, and now black took here. It's normal to take here when white has played bishop here, but apparently this one was best. Now it of course threatens a fork. So for example, if he does this one here, this is apparently even position. These pawns protect a lot of squares. Okay, so the computer thinks this is fine for black. Plan is to go here and then trade that bishop. Yeah, not so easy for white to attack the pawn here. Okay, so that's that's a nice move. Typical computer play here. Black already winning. So okay, so white has to be a bit careful here also. Okay, so it took. And it's logical now, because usually you can't take back with the knight because it's often here or something. So, but when you can do it, and now of course the d5 dream is dead. It's dead. Okay, so this bishop is, white is not afraid this bishop, it's the dark squares that could be weak, so he doesn't move away the bishop and black doesn't take it either. So they're doing kind of normal knight off stuff. Like if this knight would be here, then this would be like a normal knight off position, but it's a little bit better for white actually to have the knight here. It can threaten to take the bishop, it can go here. Here on b3 the knight doesn't have very much potential, so it's a improved version for white, but still it's quite equal. Okay, so black decided to play the bishop here, so white couldn't take it. So maybe white should have taken it, but yeah, it's computer still thinks black has a fine position. A problem for black and for white, it could be a little bit hard sometimes to find plans here. But let's see what happens. You can see here computer wants to go back with the knight, so this knight e2 was not the best. It also looked strange. Problem is that go here, he probably wanted to go here and here, but there is always g6, and something like this would be a fine maneuver for black. Black doesn't have any plan that's urgent, so a maneuver like that would be fine for black. Okay, so he did this one. So why can't he take here? I see, because take, and then take, and this is a pin. That explains it. And now, of course, black prepares that plan. This is interesting. I see. There is still this pin. White can win a pawn here. That was... Then it probably was correct actually to move here. No, the computer doesn't think that. He thinks it's too dangerous to allow some trade here. That's interesting. But because you can see that black is losing a pawn here. He probably didn't think about this possibility here, this tactic. Or he saw it and thought it was more important to prevent that. But then here he could have done this. He should have done this then, yeah, because of these tactics here, and now he could do this. Okay, so this could have been more exact for MVL. Okay, so rook e8 was a bit of an inaccuracy then, because white is winning a pawn here, and the obvious thing is here, but Gukesh, he's like playing with the queen and against the queen, so that's why he's looking for this kind of a way to win the queen. So apparently it would have been an interesting way for black to play also. So white has knight and queen, but he has passive position. Black has the bishop pair and a rook. So it's 1 point better for white. But yeah, black has, would have been interesting to see then play this position also. The bishop pair should not be underestimated. It's famously strong. Okay, so he decided to just accept that he lost a pawn. So obviously here black has lost a pawn for nothing and white is better, but still it's not easy because it's an unimportant pawn here. So right now it's an unimportant pawn, but in the endgame, of course, many endgames will be winning for white now because he has the potential to create a passed pawn on the A file. Okay, so computer thinks this was too passive. It was better to go here. Yeah, it's like a normal game. It's just that the end games will be bad for black. So let's see how they play. Okay, so computer wants to play d5 and trade here. That's always an it's always an option for black to try to trade and open the center for his pieces. It's a little bit dangerous also to change the position, but yeah, it's often fine. But it's fine to just do something else also, apparently. Okay, and now this looks like a good square for the black queen. This one is actually a bit in trouble now. Only move is here to defend. Here, threatening to go here, of course. So has to try to trade now. Yeah, it's white. Black definitely got quite active here, especially if he would have played this move, which looks extremely obvious to me, to attack that one and getting control here. But he did something else. Is Fianchet doing the knight? I don't really see the point. Of course he wants to go here, but it's just possible just to play like this, and probably doesn't have anything better than to go back maybe. Okay, but he didn't do that. He played like this, obviously here, and he wants to take. But it allows black to play 5. Yeah, you don't want to sit in this pin too long, so it was a bit bad play by Gukesh here, just to sit in this pin and not resolve that tactical problem. So he had like five moves to try to resolve it, and now MVL is forcing him to get passive here with his pieces. Okay, and obviously he doesn't want to draw when he's pawn up. Okay, so this looks wrong. These dark squares there is potential to be very, very weak on the dark squares. You don't want black to allow to trade here, so it's better to go here, and apparently here, to protect this one. And yeah, black definitely has won like the central fight here. So if white didn't have an extra pawn, this would just be better for black. But now it's quite equal here. But MVL, he did this instead, and apparently the computer doesn't like this knight take d4. Yeah, it's no hurry to do it. It cannot move, so you can always do it next move instead. So the computer likes this one. I guess white wants to go here and trade. Yeah, no hurry to take here. Of course white can take here, but that will just improve black's pawn structure. So he took here. I don't know, it looks kind of fine for black here now. He got the black dark squares, but the computer starts to like white here actually. Interesting. Yeah, white has a pawn. Yeah, there is not many potential for black to attack here. This bishop should have been somewhere else probably. Okay, but bishop b5 was an inaccuracy. Don't really understand why. Now, of course, a move like this, like, yeah, white is winning by advancing the queenside pawn, so maybe it was time to start that at once. Okay, and here apparently it was important to take here first. Point is, if you take here, then here, check. Okay, and this is apparently forced drawing checks here. Or actually, black has one pawns and has nice play here, of course. Okay, so if rook take here is not good for f3, he has to take like that. Then apparently here, plan to take here, I guess. This also looks dangerous. Now it's threatening mate in 2, bishop here and queen here. Okay, but white has a nice defensive move here. Here can't be taken because it's checkmate. Then black only has one way to draw. It's to check. Threatens to take here, so he has to take. And apparently it's this endgame is a draw, apparently. Okay, so black missed an opportunity to take on d1 here, and now white is better. It was also possible to take on d8 first, but I guess this, let's look at this f3 shenanigans here. Doesn't work anymore, probably. Yeah, it doesn't work because you can take here now. Here, and it's all good for white. This here, take. Okay, and it takes with the queen. Yeah, it's if you take with the rook, then c6 is falling. If I were black, I would probably take with the rook anyway and try for something like this. But it doesn't work tactically because you win this one. Okay, then maybe the endgame is a better try. And actually, white should not have gone for the endgame. He should have kept the queens here. It looks like bishop queen here. Yeah, it's an active queen here. It also helps. Black doesn't have any attack anymore now with this one, so just try to go down with the pawn. White should be winning. Okay, so apparently black has some. Okay, so apparently this endgame is a draw, because I guess black can get in here. So h5 was best. Okay, so black should go on like this the first. I guess when the white pawn gets here, black has to go back. So rook d2 actually looks good, but it loses 1 or 2 tempo. Here. Okay, so white should not have taken for some reason. I guess there could be some some situations where black can use that file, I guess. Okay, that this is also interesting. Well, black is not protecting on A8. Instead, he goes for his counter attack, and it's threatening mating 1 now. So only move is king G1. Now he could make a lot of checks here. But okay, so it doesn't work to check like this. Only way is to check with a pawn, apparently. Let's look at that. Let's go here, check, here, only move. If he goes here, it's check, here. Let's look at that. Yeah, okay, so he gets the queen with check here. It's okay, so very complex fight now. Okay, and I guess this white can always go here and sack here, but even that doesn't work actually, because black is winning because black can check first. So white has to get drawing checks here. So let's see how he does that. Okay, now he could do it. Okay, it's because he has won 1 pawn, so that endgame is a drawdown. Let's look at that. Okay, if black had a pawn here on c6, he would be winning. Now this is a draw. That's interesting. I thought this was winning for black, but it's apparently a draw. This could be like a this I haven't seen this position in an endgame book, but this should be like in your Dvoretsky book or your beginner's endgame books, that this is a draw, because I would think this would be, maybe people didn't understand that before computers got so good that this is a draw. But that's lucky, or maybe they studied it with computers so they know it, but yeah. Okay, so MVL didn't see any way to make progress, so he took here. And this is of course easy draw, is known as the opposition endgame here. So it's basic draw here. So here king d1 loses, but king e1. But this is like beginner level chess endgame here. And it's a draw. Okay, I thought this was a very interesting game here. And this was the only game I will look at the sync field. And next time we're going to look at the magnificent performance of India in the Chess Olympiad. And this time US of A was rating favorites here in this tournament, but India won the tournament by an extremely good performance. And the reason for that, it was that Gukesh played the tournament of his life here. You can say a performance of 3056. It's like it's one of the best performances ever. It was on first board, and you can just see here how he won 30 rating points, and you can see here he won against lots of good players: Stefansson, Kozak, Pretke, Suleimani, Rapport, Veggie, Magtsudlu. And I actually draw against Rapport and Nordebek, but he also won against Caruana and Fedusev, the big fish. So all the big fish here was getting eaten by the shark Gukesh. So, and I've chosen to, we will look a lot of these games were very interesting, so we will look at those, and after that there is only one more tournament that Gukesh plays before the tournament, and that was the European Club Cup, where I also played. I didn't play against Gukesh, of course, but I was playing that tournament, and Gukesh seemed extremely happy, even if he didn't have a good performance in the European Club Cup. But of course, he was seemed very happy and talked with the other Indian kids a lot. And of course, it's easy to be happy if you're maybe probably the second best chess player in the world, and you can play chess the rest of your life, and after the World Championship match you will never have to work again because you will win so much money, of course. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. The World Championship match starts at the 25th of November in Singapore, and it's starting 10 in the morning European time. So yeah, see you next game when we're gonna look at the Olympiad here.